Okay, we are live. So we're live with episode 87 of Nansen Office Hours. Today, me and Nelson will be going through the differences between our 4 subscription tiers, which include Nansen Lite, Standard, VIP, and Alpha. And as we only have an hour, we'll try our best to cover the highlights for all of them. But if we miss anything out or you have further questions, of course, just message either of us on Twitter. And yeah, so GM, thank you for joining us. Drop your GMs in the chat. I'll look in a second. And before we start, if you're new to Office Hours, every Wednesday we do a Nansen and Chill session, look at new features, answer questions, provide alpha leaks, and hopefully go over things like we're doing today. And yes, make sure that you subscribe, turn your notifications on. We have got Nansen Unsupervised every Friday, Office Hours every Wednesday. So we've got CEO of Pudgy Penguins and Maxine Ryan from Pulsar this Friday, which will be really good. And yeah, make sure if you want to try Nansen, we've got Nansen Lite for free below. And very excitingly, we've got up to 40% off all of our subscription plans. Also, the link there below. And yes, firstly, what we're going to do is just ask you, Nelson, how are you? And also, you might want to introduce the AMAs that you're doing in Discord.
Yeah, I'm good. It's been a while since the last office hour. Yeah, but we are doing more of a walkthrough interaction for users to understand a bit better on how different people use Nansen dashboard. What is the typical workflow, right? Because one of the key thing that a lot of people brought up is, I heard so much good things, but I don't know what is the workflow. So we are doing a bi-weekly AMA in our Discord. So if you have not joined the Discord, do join us. I believe it will be down in the comment section or something, right? So yeah. So join us. We'll do it bi-weekly and get an idea. We walk through together on what's happening in the market, stuff like that. If you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself. And we had quite a couple of good questions in the last AMA.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so I am actually going to kick off the episode this time. Lucky all of you. I'm going to be doing the Nansen Lite part and trying to go through at least some of the highlights. So once you sign up to Nansen Lite, completely free, you can sign up with your wallet or email address. You will be greeted by this homepage. So I'll cover this part really quickly. Here, of course, as you can see, you see the hot DeFi contracts and it shows you. Oh, hang on. That's not helpful. Sorry, I've opened Siri. Wait a second. Okay, nice, everyone. I just opened Siri. Can you still hear me, Nelson?
Yeah, I can. You need an assistant now, huh? Things are getting so busy for you.
Okay, sorry. Siri was trying to get involved. Okay, so yeah, hot DeFi contracts, smart money depositors, and then smart money token holdings here. So at the moment, you can see smart money seems to be piling up on USDC. So you could maybe think, what is that a sign of? But also it could be one entity. So we'll go over that later. And then, yeah, we've got hot NFTs here. So Bored Ape's got the highest volume today. This Moon Pudgy, which is outrageous, has got the second highest volume, is a derivative of Pudgy Penguins. This Vanilla project has been doing very well. So it kind of gives you a glance into what NFTs are doing well at the moment. This is really, really helpful and something that you could look at kind of every morning. It's GM Digest. So it just shows you we've picked the best market news for you to then look through. So each one links to the story, or sometimes we have the videos there or podcasts or anything like that. So this is a good example, actually. We have this Bloomberg podcast. So if you right click on this, you could then go and watch that, which is really, really helpful. And what we wanted to cover, because I don't think we've gone over it too much for Nansen Lite, is we will firstly start with ETH Tracker, because I've used this quite a lot. So here we start off and it shows you the ETH balances on exchanges, which is pretty interesting to see the most liquid exchanges. I think we covered this last week in terms of the exchange flow. So how much is going out of exchanges and into exchanges. And we now have this balance line as well to show the balance on exchanges as well. So you can see that that's been going down for a while. And then this part here, contracts deployed each month. This part we can cover, but because we're lacking time, I'm going to go to the part that's probably most interesting to everyone, is top transactions. So this is really helpful. It just shows you the top transactions of ETH each week, so last 7 days. Here you can see there was this huge transaction. I think it was on Twitter from Binance to Binance. And it's a good example, actually, because I got tagged in it saying, like, who is the transaction to? Because people saw it was moving from Binance, but they didn't know what the second wallet was. So if you were on Nansen Lite, you could quickly go on there and you could see, okay, it's just movement from Binance to Binance. And then from this table, why it's so helpful is what you can do is filter by time to then see like the most recent large ETH transactions. So here, there's some transaction from an unknown wallet that we don't have labeled into the Arbitrum inbox, which I personally don't know what that is, but it's kind of interesting. And then you could explore that. And then you see a lot of exchange transactions going on, Genesis trading. And basically you can just comb through and have a look, like, are there any that stand out as kind of unique or interesting? So it's a really helpful table to kind of see whale movements, I guess. It will be both exchanges and entities. So here we can see FTX movement of 1,200, which is like 1.5 million or something like that, maybe 2 million now, from FTX to Jump, which is kind of interesting and a good example. And you can see even on Nansen Lite as well, we have like the smart money ones labeled, which is pretty amazing. Here is a very interesting one. Andy J, I don't know who this is. 2,000 ETH onto Stargate, which is pretty interesting. TradFi whale. So basically you can go through, have a look, and you can also then filter by volume, which I think is what we had at the start. Yeah, to show you the largest transaction. So if you're interested in what's going on now, you can filter by time. If you're interested in just like what are the largest movements, you can filter by volume. So this one is quite interesting here. Similar to that, we have the top volume addresses. So these addresses are like the most active in terms of sending and receiving ETH in the last 7 days. So again, you can do very similar things. See, like filter by the various columns that we've got here and see if any stand out as unusual. So Jump here again, 47,000 ETH received and sent. So yeah, you just need to kind of scroll through what ones are interesting. I see this wallet stand out quite a lot, one to kind of look into. And yeah, at the bottom here, we just have like a quick top 15 of the highest ETH balances. So this one was actually recent again, sorry Jump, of like 2 million ETH into one wallet. I think it's worth like billions of dollars or something. And you can see here as well all the ETH that's in the ETH 2.0 contract. So that's it for ETH Tracker. All of it is completely free, which is pretty amazing. You just need to sign up, like I said, Nansen Lite. And now we're going to look at Stablecoin Master. So here is like all the details that you need on all stablecoins. And why that's really useful is, so here is like for the wallets that we have labeled for exchanges, the balances they've got, net exchange flow, similar to this table here. We can again look at balance changes again. So you can see what ones have gone down a lot. So this movement of 1.8 is from that Binance wallet. Genesis trading, adding 200 million, all of this. So these are things you can look through. You can see the Jump trading Binance deposit has had an increase of $93 million added to that. And similar to the ETH tracker, we have this large stablecoin transactions table. So this is really amazing because it includes all stablecoins just in one table, which is super helpful. Here, I don't actually know why this is always the case, but Arrakis always do really large transactions, like constantly, but again, you can filter by time to maybe see some kind of different wallets. So here, Smart Dex Trader to Uniswap, 16 million, and then taking it out as well. So it's all a case of like going through here, seeing if there's anything that stands out as unusual or stands out as very interesting or something that might influence the market. Amber to amber. So yeah, you just need to take your time and kind of go through. If you're interested as well, I should say, in like what these emojis mean, we have an article on our website under guides that kind of gives you an explanation of all the different emojis. And yeah, stablecoin balances, including all stablecoins here. All of this for free, highest volume, very similar like the ETH tracker, stablecoin flow, which is pretty cool. So that includes all transactions between like one wallet to another. So you can see here, do you know what this is about, Nelson? Maybe I'll be surprised if you do. I don't know, but 53 billion in volume.
No idea. I think it might be some kind of U aggregator or something.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird, but yeah, like I said, Arrakis moved tons of money. I'm not entirely sure why. But yeah, you go through these in the same kind of way. So that is Stablecoin Master. I'm sorry if I'm going like relatively fast. It's because we're trying to cover everything. If this wants to load.
I think one good use case by looking at this stablecoin is definitely looking at transactions of stablecoin to exchanges, especially centralized exchanges, right? Because I think it really boils down to two reasons why they move it to exchange, right? One is to off-ramp, right, convert it to fiat, and the other it's they are ready to convert it to some other assets, basically going risk on. Right. So I think once you see that transaction, probably what you can do is set a smart alert on that particular entity to see if they receive any other tokens right after this transaction that you have spotted.
Yeah, and we'll cover smart alerts maybe later as part of the other plans. Someone says the Arbitrum inbox is just the bridge to Arbitrum. So that's quite an interesting transaction, and the one that we looked at earlier. So I think that was for ETH. So someone is obviously bridging like a load of ETH over to Arbitrum. So these things are kind of interesting. Okay, so now, for sake of time, we're going to quickly move on to NFT data that we have. So the first thing for NFTs that you have on Nansen Lite, again, for free, is the market overview. So here it just kind of gives you some more details on like the top collections at the moment. Like I said before, on the homepage, Bored Apes, 500 ETH. You can see the floor change for 3 day, 24 hours. You can also change these timeframes and kind of go through the same ones and like see what's interesting. One thing, if we can do it here, that is quite a cool thing you can do with this is see the average price, so the average entries into all of these collections. Which is relevant at the moment, especially as like some collections are going down a fair bit. So then you can kind of see what is like the average entry into these collections. And then if we're like closing in on that price, you might then see like more selling going on because people want to like recoup what they've put in. So even now, like Azuki's average entry is 8.8, and now they're under that. Same for CloneX and things like this. So Moonbirds is like just above the average entry. And I put a tweet out yesterday of like Bored Apes. These sellers at the moment seem to be like early buyers, but you can still see that the average entry into Bored Apes is 25. So you're still quite a fair bit off that. But yeah, once you get close to that, it seems like a bit more worrying to me. So it's quite a helpful table to look at. Okay, next one. I need to speed through is trends and indexes. So this one just gives you an overview of the whole market for NFTs. So we include all marketplaces here, and you can filter individually, which I'm not going to do at the moment, by the different marketplaces. So you can see last week we had like quite very low volume. most of it by OpenSea, and yeah, you can kind of look through which marketplaces are doing well. Users are still like remaining relatively stable. They're not seeing big decreases. Transactions are like tiny bit up even in the last couple of weeks. Buys you can look at. This one is really helpful. So it just shows you the recent sweeps of NFTs, so any. So if we see here, I have no idea what this collection is, but someone's swept 41. So then you might feel like, okay, if they're sweeping 41, it might be something I want to look at. I always feel like if they're spending more, that's almost more important than how many they're sweeping. Because if you've got more money in the game, I guess, you probably feel that you have higher conviction. So like something like this, 24, but for almost no money, is not as good of a sign to me. But also what's relevant is if you go through each page and then see the same thing popping up a lot. So actually this Bob's collection is coming up a fair bit. Then you might be like, okay, I should probably look at Bob's. Yeah, Bob's is coming up a lot actually. So here you'd be like, let me see if I want to buy one, especially if they're cheap, maybe it's worth the risk. Same thing for these pudgy dick butts. You might feel like you want one. I don't know why you'd want one, but they might go up. So yeah, you could have a look at them. Deaf girl, no idea. So that's a kind of process that you'd go through, see if there's a lot coming up. Is there a lot being spent on them? Because maybe that's a good sign, like this one. And yeah, you can kind of see through there. This one just shows you the kind of top expensive purchases in the last 24 hours. So as always, a lot of Bored Apes going on. Women Ape Yacht Club, interesting. Might be wash trading, I don't know. And yeah, Fanilia, Pudgy Penguins, Moonbirds, all of this. You can see what collections are doing well at the moment. Okay, we're going to rush through to NFT God mode. So if I pick a collection quickly, let's do Bored Apes. Okay.
I like how after your Nansen unsupervised with Justin Sun, 0.05 ETH is now almost nothing to you.
Yeah, it's just a small purchase, 200 million. But yeah, okay. NFT God mode. So what you have here is just like the overview of whatever NFT collection you're interested in. So of course, the important data of like floor, volume, supply. You can look at the chart in different time frames. If we go all here. So yeah, this is kind of interesting, as always, for that type of data. 24-hour average price, all of this. This one is really cool and kind of amazing that it's free. So it shows you the smart money buys for any collection. This is like particularly important if you've got a new collection as well, because then you can kind of go through and see, should I buy this like new mint or whatever? Is there any smart money buying it? Or is it all just, when it says common buys, it feels harsh, like we're all just common compared to them. But yeah, if there's all just like common buys, maybe it's less interesting to you. But yeah, so these yellow dots, of course, are the smart money ones. So you can see for Bored Apes, there hasn't really been much smart money buying at all since the end of July even. And even then, there's not that much. Most of it was happening back in May. And yeah, we can see transactions. You can see they're way down compared to what they were in mid-June. And we've got some info there. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Well, that isn't it for Nansen Lite, but those are the things that I thought I'd highlight today. And then as you can see, so when you're on Nansen Lite, we have like some parts showing that like you need to upgrade. So that leads us on like perfectly to Nelson, who will now go through the kind of paid plans, and you can stop listening to me talk forever and like why the paid plans are so good. Okay, if you're ready, Nelson.
Yeah, I actually think that the Lite has a lot of value, right? Especially something like this, right? Like if you spot a collection going really well and you want to hop into the volume, right? I think it's a good idea to see where the smart money buys are and where price currently is, right? Because if it has moved on too much, right, I think there's no point chasing it, right? But if you see something like a pullback, right, and you know that you are getting in at a price lower than where smart money got in, right, then that's something that you might want to consider. So moving on to the standard plan, you actually have access to most features on Nansen, right, including smart money, token God mode, NFT God mode, which we are looking at now, right? And you can look at a couple of different things which gives you more insight into the nitty-gritty stuff of a particular collection, right? So for example, we are currently looking at Pudgy Penguins, which Alex knows a lot about, right? You can see who actually received the most Pudgy Penguins in the last 24 hours, right? So this guy, for example, received 28 in the last 24 hours, right? And you basically get a list to see who is buying, who is selling, right? And for you to do more analysis, right, into what is their price point, right? Have there been any previous wins that they have made, stuff like that. Next up, you have your top balancers, which shows you who are actually the whales of that particular collection, right? So for example, 9x9x9, right, holds 219 Pudgy Penguins, right? You then have a couple of smart NFT money here, right? And they hold quite substantial amount as well, right? But one really interesting thing to really drill down is actually the number of holders and the seniority distribution, right? So you can see with the recent hype around Pudgy Penguins, right? Back in June, the unique addresses is somewhere around 4,003, right? But now currently it's about 4,562, right? So we have gained quite a good amount of unique addresses, right? And if you look at the seniority distribution, you can see a huge amount of them have actually been holding the NFT in their collection for a long time, right? And you have a small group of people who are trying to flip it for a small profit, or they have minted really early and they are trying to take profit now. And you can see a good amount of smart money in it as well, right? And they've been in here for quite some time, right? So if I zoom in for you, right, you can see there are 25 smart NFT hodler, smart NFT sweeper, that's 15, right? So good amount of smart money in this collection at this point in time. So something that we have recently, I wouldn't say added, but we have recently put out a new version. It's actually the price estimator, right? So it basically spots opportunity for you in the market, right? So if anyone is mispricing their NFT because they're not familiar with the collection, right, or they want to get rid of it because of liquidity, so on and so forth, right, you can actually spot opportunities here, right, by looking at how much it is being listed and the predicted value of that particular NFT, right? So for example, this guy on top, right, yeah, he wears a, is that an ice kimono, Alex?
Yeah, ice kimono, yeah.
Yeah, so you can see the predicted value, it's 18 ETH, but he's listing it at slightly below 15 ETH, right? So you have a differential of about close to 3.8 ETH, right? So this is a tool which a lot of us actually use to spot for mispricing opportunity, as well as people trying to get rid of their NFT for liquidity, right? And it's not being identified in the market yet, right? So it's a good way to spot arbitrage opportunity. You can put it that way. So that's the NFT God mode itself, right? And the price estimator, which is price estimator itself is available on the VIP plan, right? The rest of the dashboards that you look at, breakdown, hodler, so on and so forth, all these are available on the standard plan, right? So if you are trying to explore VIP feature and you don't know whether is it worth it, right? So this alone would gives you a lot of value, and I would say you would pay for your subscription, right? Because you pretty much can look for a lot of mispricing opportunity across different collection, right? And yeah, basically snipe those in time.
I think it's important to mention actually, like you said, a lot of the tools are, so people say, why does Nansen cost like X amount? But often if you're using it, and hopefully we can help you to use it like the best way, you can easily just pay off the subscription if you find like something like this, like a mispriced NFT or a good mint or something like that. So then the cost kind of becomes irrelevant if the like tool is really good, like it is. Someone mentions as well, Nelson, are you planning to include NFT sniping tools like Rarity Sniper? And I think that's a good like time then to kind of look at the rarity tab quickly. Because we have rarity data for even for like new reveals as well on Mintmaster, which we'll probably look at later. But here, yeah, is a good example of showing like our different rarity data.
Yeah, I think the team is currently working on a sniping tool as well. But at the same time, we want to make sure we have all the framework and fundamental in place, right? And nail that before we move on to something else.
Yeah, it's a good point to make.
Yeah. So yeah, this is available on most tiers for your breakdown, hodlers, stuff like that, right? And if you want something that is more alpha generative for you to spot opportunities for you, right? Then the VIP tier is for you. The other thing that I want to talk about on the VIP tier, it's also access to hot contracts, right? So essentially, hot contracts are available on all the chains that we currently support, right? So you have your ETH hot contract, which basically looks at capital inflow, right? And we also have another dashboard, which is a multi-chain hot contract. So multi-chain hot contracts looks at all the other L1 and L2 that are not Ethereum, right? So for example, you have your Arbitrum, BNB, Polygon, and so forth, right? And this is really good to spot opportunities before people are talking about it, right? So I actually spotted a couple of different protocols using hot contracts previously. For example, GMX was one, Radiant was another one before it started popping up on Twitter, right? So the thing to note is really before someone actually talks about it or tweets about anything, right? It's in their benefit to move the money first or to buy something first, right? If not, they will be buy at a higher pricing, or they will basically negate their own alpha too early, right? So the idea is by looking on the blockchain, right, by using tools like Nansen, right, you can actually track people moving their capital before they actually start trending on Twitter or before some influencer starts talking about it, right? And hot contract here, right, shows you a couple of different things, right? You have your APY, you have your inflow for the last hour, which is good for identifying opportunities on the go. So for example, Finance, right, you have your Redmatic USDT, right, 800,000 gone into this contract in the last hour, which is quite a huge amount, right? And 4 million in the last 7 days, right? So I can sort it by last 7 days, look at the contracts that receive the most amount of capital in the last 7 days. You can see a couple of familiar contract, right, on the 1 hour. So Finance here, right? If I look at 7 days, right, I see the same Finance, but this is a stablecoin liquidity pool, Finance here as well, right? And I can toggle by smart money and I see the same pattern, right? Seven smart money in this particular MMF USDC pool, right? Finance basically dominating this, right? So if you go on to Finance, right, I think you sort of get to see why. I'll just close.
For Finance as well, I remember, just by coincidence, I think we just added support for Finance on Nansen Portfolio for Polygon as well. So if you got into this vault or like you started farming or whatever, you can then track that on Nansen Portfolio. So it's a good little time to chill that as well, all for free. But yeah, carry on, Nelson.
Yeah. So you can sort of see the reason why so much capital has moved across, right? Within smart money and also within the crypto community itself, right? You can see they're paying yields in 6-digit, which is hard to come by in today's market condition, right? But you can see stablecoin pools. You can see Red Bitcoin USDC, right, paying close to 30%. Right. So I think that sort of gives you an idea into discovering projects, right, by looking at where capital has moved, and then start doing your research, right, making sure that it's not a rock project and it has a decent fundamental tokenomic stuff like that, right? So this is one way to go about using hot contract, which is a VIP feature, right? And the other protocol that we are seeing, right, gains network as well, right? So you can click into it, right, and it takes you to the particular contract that we are looking at, right? And you can drill down a lot deeper, right, from your starting point on hot contract by looking at what is being deposited into this particular contract, right? So we can see it's a GNS staking contract, right? I can drill down deeper using wallet profiler for token, which is available on the standard tier, right? And I can drill down to look at the top depositor, right? And see who are the smart money that is actually in on this, right? So you can see a couple of smart money here, right? And they have deposited 6 days ago. So this guy trimmed off half his position, right? This smart money is still 100% of his position is still there, right? On the VIP feature, right, to make my job easier, I can also use the filter button, right, and just filter by smart money, and I can see who specifically are the smart money, right? And that sort of makes your life a lot easier instead of scrolling through the different pages. But at the same time, you're able to get to this result, right, on the standard tier by just going through the pages, right? Just that the VIP makes your job slightly easier, right? And now that we have identified some smart money on this project, right, and they're still in it, right, you can then start doing your due diligence on Gains network, right? See what they're doing, right, and what sort of view are you getting from the project itself, right? So I think this is similar to GMX on Arbitrum, right? Just that this is on, so it's a derivative trading platform, right? You can see the yield, right, and I believe you get paid in DAI, right? So it's sort of identify opportunities like this for you, right, so that you can get in early by tracking where capital is moving, right? So this provides a lot of value for our VIP users to spot opportunities early before it starts trending on Twitter or before your Telegram group or your Discord group starts talking about it. Yeah.
Sounds good. I think one that we could look at quickly, actually, Nelson, for VIP is DAO Paradise and DAO God Mode. Someone mentioned, do we have DAO data? So it's a good time to look at it.
Yeah. So we actually have quite a lot of DAOs that we have listed on our DAO Paradise, and this is a VIP feature, right? And I can dig deeper into the treasury to look specifically at what tokens are they holding, whether they are all holding their native tokens or do they diversify into other assets, right? So up here we have your DAO ETH and token balances, and you can see the tokens that they are holding, right? As well as the DAO treasury change over time, right? So the vertical bar that you see, this is your token balance over time, right? And you can see who has actually the largest influence when it comes to voting on different governance or different voting, right? Who can influence it the most, as well as your DAO addresses, right? So you can click into it, takes you to wallet profiler, right? You can start drilling down into each particular DAO wallet addresses, or you can set a smart alert, or you can make use of portfolio, right? So for example, if I'm interested in Aave's DAO, right, what I can do is I can open up portfolio, right, and I can copy the wallet address from here, or I can just copy it here, right, and I can start creating a new portfolio. So for example, Aave DAO treasury, and I can plug in their address, and now I have one wallet added, right? I can continue to do the same for the rest of the wallet addresses, and that allows me to not only identify what they're doing, but can also look at their portfolio as a whole instead of just individual wallets. Let me just go back. Anything you want to add on portfolio?
Yeah, do you want to just put one in? Oh, you've got one there actually. And just maybe just quickly go over what you can actually look at on the portfolio for like a wallet. I know we did it last week, but it might be helpful. Just like a quick 2-minute look.
Sure. Yeah, so you can see Nansen portfolio supports a lot of chains, more than 40 different chains, and we support a lot of different protocols as well. If you do have any protocols that you want integrated that we have not integrated, feel free to reach out to us, right? And yeah, we'll get that shipped out for you really quickly. So on the top, you have your token allocation, you have your portfolio allocation, right? I can see what is in the wallets that I've created, right? So this is my RV DAO treasury that I've put together, right? 2 addresses. It aggregates the 2 wallet addresses, right, and looks at their holding, right? And if they do have any staking, right, which we'll look at in a later example, right, you'll be able to see it as well.
I'll mention actually quickly. This week is like a bit of alpha for all of you. Should be done this week. We will have some NFT data as well on portfolio, which will be super, super helpful. And hopefully we'll like expand on that. Well, definitely will be expanding on that as well in the future. The portfolio team are like unbelievably fast. It's crazy. So if you ever spot anything that you want added on portfolio, just like at the portfolio account, or there's a bug tracker page as well on there. So if you see something that's wrong, you can obviously fill that form in and we will fix it hopefully super quickly. If there's a protocol that you want added as well, just let us know. We're going to be putting out a form for that as well. Should be done this week as well on like things that you want to add. So yeah, look out for that and follow the Nansen Portfolio Twitter account because we will announce it there. Yeah, if you want to look at STG.
Yeah, so I think Stargate has been something that was talked about a lot on crypto Twitter, right? Because of the listing on Binance. So you can see, let me just zoom in for you. So you can see from this price chart here, right? It went from 35 cents all the way to 70 cents, right? And it's still sitting at 2x now, right? So you see the huge spike, and largely because of it being listed on Binance, right? So one way to identify opportunities like this is to follow the right wallet address, right, and set a smart alert on them, right? So Token God Wallet is available on standard, right, and you can use it in conjunction with this other dashboard called Token Movement, which is also on the standard tier. And I can plug in the token with specific time period to see who have been buying the token, right? And the goal is really to identify people who are really quick to react to market news, right? Or they are quick to react to things that are happening in the market, right? And these are people that I want to keep a lookout for, right? So I can go back to the time period and see when did it actually pump, which is I think 20th August, right? So I want to see who has been accumulating the most prior to this pump, which is about 18 to 19 August. And let it load, and you'll be able to see a couple of things, the top transaction as well as the balance change. So balance change basically shows you which are the wallets or contract that receive or sent out the most of STG token for this particular period. Your top transaction shows you who has been sending or receiving the most of this particular token in one specific transaction. So if we go back to the balance change period, right, I can sort this by positive change and see who has been accumulating during this 2 days. And you can see one unlabeled wallet here, right? And they received the token for the first time 5 days ago. A couple of different ones here received the tokens 4 days ago, 5 days ago. So these are really fresh wallet. And you have someone here who has been accumulating for quite some time, right? And this guy here, long live BTC, who received it 5 days ago, right? So these are all interesting people interesting wallets that I'll dig deeper into, right? So what I can do is I can click on it and it'll open up wallet profiler for token. And I'll use Nansen portfolio together with this. So I'll copy the wallet address and I'll head over to Nansen portfolio and plug it in. So you can see their holdings, anywhere that they are staking, right? You can see their past transaction, which we'll look at in a while. Right. So if I go into transaction, right, I can see all his transactions here. Let me just zoom in. The tokens that they have received, how much GUI they have paid, right? And let's try to spot the Stargate, which is on 18, I believe. Yeah, so you can see they received 500,000 USDC in this wallet. They went on to use half of that to buy Stargate token, right? And this happens in less than 60 minutes, right? And we know that that's not the end of it, right? They went on to sell the token soon after, right? So these are all things that I would dig into, right? To look at their trade on Stargate to see whether they are really good traders for this particular token, right? They are good at catching on with information, with happenings in the crypto space, or are they just lucky, right? So once I spotted that, hey, this particular wallet, long-lived BTC, is really good at trading Stargate token, or any token for the matter, right? I'll then drill down deeper into things that he have been doing, right, on the DeFi side, right? Things, area that he have been providing liquidity, right? Any other tokens that he owns, right? So you can see Stargate being his biggest position, right? The rest are pretty much in stables, right? And I can scroll down. Yeah. This guy doesn't do anything else on DeFi side, but if it does, let me try to find someone that does. Probably this guy.
After this as well, Nelson, because it's like a new update, you could probably look at the smart alerts because now you have 10 for standard users. So yeah, maybe you could look at how you'd set one up.
Sure. Yeah, so for example, this guy, Elite Trader that I spotted from here, right? If I scroll down after the wallet holdings, you can actually see the farms that they're in, any staking that they're doing, any their loans that they are taking as well, right? All this you'll be able to see here. So for example, borrow, right? And any deposit that they have been doing, basically any protocols that they are participating in, right? You'll be able to see it here, right? To spot for other opportunities or other things that they have been doing to try to, start doing your research and add that to your research list at least, right? So for example, Wigo Swap, you can see he has quite a good amount of position, 240,000 in this protocol, right? And yeah, Tima DAO as well, stuff like that. So once I've identified these two wallets as somebody that I want to follow, and I think that they are good trader, they are in the know in terms of market movement, right? I can then start setting a smart alert, right? So you can do it either through this page itself, just do a right click, create smart alert, or you can do it from the page up here, right? So I'll do a right click, create smart alert. And what it does, it will have the wallet address auto filled for you. So you have the wallet address here filled in, right? And now I want to add this other guy, right? So I can copy this guy. I can plug in as well, right? And set the minimum dollar amount, right? So say for example, I want to catch everything that they're doing, right? I can just leave this blank, right? And connect how I want to get notified. So one trick with setting smart alert is to be as precise as possible. So I've spoken to quite a lot of users that basically got overwhelmed by the number of notifications that they get, right? So what I recommend is to be as precise as possible and as detailed as possible in terms of the alerts that you have, right? So for example, this guy, right, this two wallet, I found them through Stargate Pump on Stargate Pump Good Trader, right? So that's how I can name my alert, right? And I can add in specific details on how I found this guys, right? So 18 to 19 August palm traders, right? So I'm super specific so that the next time I come across an alert from them, I know how I've identified this particular sets of wallet, right? And what I recommend is to separate your alerts, right? Whether you use Telegram or Discord. So for example, on Discord, you can create different categories and different channels, each for one alert each, right? Same for Telegram, you can create a folder, right? And create a new channel for each alert that you're setting, so that you know that once you get an alert from a particular channel, which are the ones that you have to act immediately, right? Which are the ones that you can afford to wait and check at the end of the day, right?
I think,
How
well,
often?
yeah, just quickly, Nelson, for smart alerts, if you go back and just like on the smart alerts page, yeah, it's worth mentioning that we now have like this explore alerts tab that like gives you some like recommended ones and some that are already set up for you. So if you're like new to using them, these are really helpful in terms of like getting used to it and understanding actually like how to use them as well. Because if on the right hand side it should, where it says view, I'm hoping it then tells you like the details of the smart alert. So then you could maybe like copy and paste that and just change a few things. Yeah, there you go. So if you wanted to switch over from Polygon to like Solana or something like that, then you can do that. But yeah, so these are really, really helpful. But you can't do Solana. I lied to you, but you could do one of the other ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So one good way as well to manage your alerts really well, it's, for example, this guy, right? I noticed that they are active on other chains as well, right? So this guy is active on Polygon, is active on Phantom, right? What I can then do is to create another smart alert for them, but specifically for the other chains that they're active on, right? So I can put basically the same STG code trader, right? Same description, right? Just that I change the network to Polygon or Phantom, whatever chains that they're on, so that you catch their movement on other chains as well, not just on Ethereum, right? So again, on the explore alerts, right? If you don't have anything that you have in mind to set right now, right? It's a good idea to check this out, get some inspiration, and once you start getting the hang of it, you realize that you set a lot of alerts, right? I can show you my alert list, right? So you can see I have tons of alerts that I've set, right? And this helps me keep track of, which are the people that are worth tracking, which are the people that are not worth tracking, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And probably a good way as well, is to use your channel as a trading log, right? So anything that they buy, they sell, right? Use that particular channel as a trading log, right? To see whether they are profitable. So basically, you're not back testing now, you are forward testing their performance, right? So that would help you as well to consciously know that whether this person is a good wallet or whether it's just pure luck.
Mm-hmm. I think I'll just quickly mention Nelson, and then we could probably look at like smart money tab. So we've kind of covered Lite, standard, and VIP in terms of like really basic and like only some of the features, but we also have Alpha, and neither of us are on the Alpha team. So if you want the most detail, probably ask them. But Alpha is like a really, really amazing subscription. So within it, you get like VIP and all of the access. So everything that we've looked at today, you get included. And then also you have this like, I think it's super worth it. I know it's an expensive subscription, but you get like 15 analysts who obviously all work for Nansen. They're all like on-demand access. They cover all time zones. Then you can talk to, ask questions. They can help you like make decisions or whatever, or guide you in your decisions. And then also you enter into like this amazing kind of alpha group of other alpha subscribers that are like really smart people who then there's like a really close-knit community, and they will help each other in understanding like good investments, NFTs or whatever, crypto. And yeah, it's just like being part of I'm supposed to call it like a research house as well. So you have like research reports. I think they write 2 or 3 a week or something like that. Don't quote me on that. You need to ask them. But yeah, so they write research reports. You have 15 analysts on demand. They help you with everything. You join like a completely amazing smart money kind of group that will help each other. And it's kind of, to me, I always think of it of like, you can hire maybe one analyst for crypto or like 50K salary, or you end up like, especially with the discount that we've got now, I think it's 20K a year, with 15 analysts on demand, all for 20K, which to me seems amazing. So yeah, if you want more details on that though, for Alpha, people to ask are like Sandra, Daniel, or just DM the Nansen Alpha Twitter account, and they'll be able to help you, because I think you have to apply even. So yeah, if you're interested in that, especially with the discount that we've got, it's really, really amazing. Just reach out and ask. Or you could, if you feel like you can't find those people, just DM me on the intern account, and I will find the people for you. So yeah, should we look at smart money? Because I'm sure that everyone will be interested in that. So there's the smart money tab, which you can look at on all subscriptions, right? Standard to VIP or Alpha.
Yeah. One thing I'll probably add on Alpha, which I really enjoyed a lot, is actually the curation. So you know how a lot of Discord group, it gets really messy and it takes a lot of time to go through all that was being discussed. So one good thing about Alpha is they do a lot of curation. So things that are being discussed, talked about, important topics, right? They will curate it so that you can check it at the end of the day without having to go through like the bulk of messages in Discord.
Oh, one other thing actually, Nelson, you reminded me. If you're in the Alpha plan as well, they often like provide whitelist spots for NFT collections, and also I think you could even get into like certain kind of investment rounds for crypto, if they can find them. So yeah, another like really amazing benefit.
Yeah. So currently the Alpha community consists of mainly crypto OGs, and you have a huge amount of crypto funds in there, right? So you're rubbing shoulders with not only the smartest people, but also people that are really on top of things in the market, right? And that's where you sort of leverage your network effect to catch up on things that are popping up or things that are not on your radar previously. So yeah, talking about smart money, this is actually available on the standard tier, right? And for those of you that are not familiar with Nansen Smart Money, we actually have a list of different categories of smart money, which you can look into the definition, where we have a document on it as well to look at the different categories, how do they get their labels, how do they qualify, and if you want to be a Nansen Smart Money, how do you qualify, right? And you can actually sort through the specific segment that you want to look at. So for example, I want to see what the funds have been up to, right? I can select the specific segment, right? Hit submit, and what it does, it basically sorts out all the rest of the smart money and just shows me what the smart money are doing, right? So for example, we can see here Sigil Fund buying 10,000 worth of XYZ token, right? And I can then start looking into XYZ token using token god mode, right? And that basically helps you not only discover projects, but also kickstart your due diligence process, right? Looking at smart money for this XYZ token, right? Who are the largest holders, right? Which are the smart money are in on this? So you can see a couple of blockchain capital here, right? Sigil Fund, which we saw earlier, right? And start digging through, start doing your research. What is the unique ownership for this token, stuff like that. The other way to identify opportunities is really through token holdings, right? So token holdings is a very straightforward way to show you which are the tokens that was being received by funds, right? Because I've selected this segment as fund, right? And you can see a lot of them have received USDC, right? Rep Ether, you have Rep NXM. So a lot of stable assets, right? But you also have Synapse here, right? And you can drill in deeper to see where did they receive the token from and who are they specifically, right? So I can look into this particular token and look at who is the smart money that received it. Let's just wait for this to reload.
It reminds me while I'm looking at it. Like you've got Synapse on your watch list. I don't think we really talk about that too much. So you can like right click these and add tokens or NFTs to your watch list. And then it's like really easy to access them and like have a look at their data. Yeah, just a simple thing, but really helpful.
Yeah. So any token that you have identified, but you don't have time to look at it now, you can add to your watch list, or anything that you have exposure to right now, you can add to your watch list, right? And yeah, I would say watch list and smart alert is two of the best combo. So you can see Arca here receive close to 200,000 in the last 24 hours. I can drill down deeper, right, and identify where did they receive the token from. Is it investing unlock? Is it them buying the token? So we can see in July, they actually bought a bunch of Synapse token, right? Yeah, so 28th of July, they bought a bunch, 28th of July again, and August 24th, right, which is today, they bought another bunch, right? So I can click onto the transaction, and it takes me straight to Etherscan and it shows me directly the transaction itself and how much they spent to swap it. So now that I've seen a particular fund buying this token, right, I can then start doing my research on this Synapse token, right, by looking at the token distribution, who are the top balancers, right? You can see Block Tower Capital, which is another fund here as well. You can look at the balance change for the last 7 days, look at who has been receiving, who has been selling, right? You can look at the seniority distribution, right? How long have they been holding the token, as well as the adoption for that particular token, right? So you can see it climbing upwards. You can see the unique addresses have been moving up in a very steady manner, right? So yeah, so these are all things that can not only help you with the discovery of projects and opportunity, but also allows you to start doing due diligence, right? And set a smart alert to sort of defend your position. If there is a huge selling volume, how do you defend your position, right? Do you decide to hedge it, right? Do you want to trim your position, stuff like that? So yeah, so we have the Nansen Lite, which was what Alex covered at the start of this office hour. You have your standard, which gives you access to most dashboard, like your wallet profiler, NFT Paradise, token god mode, smart money. You have your VIP tier, which gives you access to hot contracts, right? Which allows you to look at capital flow to spot opportunities really early before people start talking about it, right? You then have your Nansen Alpha, which is a select group of community members who are crypto OGs, who are people working in the crypto fund, right? And are really on top of things, and also to leverage on the Nansen analyst at your exposure. And last but not least, something that that is not talked about a lot is actually Nansen Query, which I believe Jason and Alberto spoke about in previous office hours, right? Having access to raw blockchain data to do different things like dashboarding, right? To track wallet addresses. And we have users that use it to backtest different strategies and forward test as well. So yeah, I think it brings us to something that we are currently running. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, what the discount I'm guessing you're talking about? Yeah, so in like celebration of our portfolio release, we've got, as you can see here, we've got a up to 40% off, I should say, sorry my English, of all of our plans. So you can see there 40% off standard, VIP and alpha, which is like really, really amazing. We don't do discounts that often, so definitely take advantage of it. I don't know why I said so many times. Yeah, take advantage of the discount because it's there and it's very amazing, and we don't do it very often. And also, I want to say, like, we have showed some things today, but there's like loads more that you could look at. So if you want to look at all of the other stuff, just check out the other office hours episodes, or just ask us questions, like I said, on Twitter, and we're always happy to help. Nelson and me definitely. And it's like part of our job to like help and guide people through it. So don't feel like it's awkward or whatever. I try to reply to most DMs because yeah, we're here to like help you help you make the most use of Nansen. So yeah, I think that's it. We have the discount link below, and also a Lite sign up link below. Make sure if you want to hear more about like how to use Nansen, Nelson is doing bi-weekly AMAs in our Discord. So there's a link to join our Discord as well. And if you want to watch Nansen unsupervised every Friday and office hours every Wednesday, subscribe, turn your notifications on, and hopefully we see you on Friday this week for a really cool one. Make sure that you're following the Nansen account actually, because we have a good tweet going out later that you'll enjoy. And I think that is probably it. Hopefully we see you Friday and next Wednesday. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you Nelson for joining. And that's it. Bye-bye.
See you.